Laura with KS Services, and today I wanted to talk to you about two terms, stress management and stress reduction. These are terms I use in sessions with clients frequently, and today I'm going to specifically focus on the use of these terms with adolescents, but truthfully, the strategies that we talk about today are really applicable across age groups. So a lot of times I'm finding clients coming in and they're reporting high levels of stress, and this might show up. They may notice it because they can't go to sleep at night or they wake up throughout the night. They may find clients reporting lack of appetite or lack of motivation to engage, but they're showing up as stressors, right? So clients are experiencing these high amounts of stress. So with my teens, often what I like to do is start by identifying areas of control. This is especially important with teens because often they feel that they don't have any control or say over what's going on in their life. So it can be actually a little bit of a challenging activity. But what we like to do is draw a circle on a piece of paper. And in the middle, I have the teen really list out anything that they can think of that they have control over. So they might say they have control over their grades in some aspects, right? They may be able to say how much effort I put into my grades. They may have control over how they respond to their teachers, how they respond to their parents. They have control over, maybe some have control over their bedtimes. These things vary from family to family. So that can be a little challenging for teens. But then on the outside, they get into really listing where they don't have control, which can be a little easier, right? They don't have control over how much homework they're assigned. They don't have control maybe over guidelines in the house, maybe over how much screen time they're allowed. So these different things are pretty easy for teens to identify. So we spend a lot of time really focusing on their locus of control. Where do they have control and where do they not have control? And that is where we start with stress reduction and stress management, because these can actually look quite different. So stress reduction is literally that. It's reducing the amount of stress they have. And that's where the middle circle comes in, where the teen has control. So for this, we might say, if these are the things you can control, how could we reduce your stress? So for instance, a client might say, well, I'm feeling very stressed with my homework. So maybe what they can do is reduce that stress by learning some time management techniques. If they're able to organize and manage their time wisely, try some new time management strategies, they may actually find that their stress level is lower, right? They've reduced it because of the new techniques that they're using. That's an area they have control over. Maybe they're feeling stressed because of lack of time. And so this might be a place where, depending on if they have control in the family, maybe saying with mom and dad, like, hey, I don't enjoy this sport anymore, or I'd like to engage in another one, and being able to identify places where they'd like to change activities or change extracurriculars, and they have control over that, they can actually reduce the stress by being able to identify activities that they like to participate in and activities that they'd like to step back from. That's all in their locus of control. And teaching time management techniques and teaching effective communication strategies so that they can identify these things reduces stress. So that's always step one, right? We want to go in there and find where can we lower the stress. What happens next is we look at the outside circle, the things that they cannot control. And that's where we learn stress management. So for instance, with remote learning, some of my clients are required to turn on their webcams for particular classes. And this can cause high amounts of stress for students. So that's a stress management technique. You may have heard of it as a coping skill. We cannot control that you have to turn this webcam on. So how can we manage your stress? They may need some deep breathing techniques. They might need to have some fidget toys around or something to distract them while they have to turn their webcam on, right? That's management. We're going to learn some coping skills for when we have to learn to manage the stress because we don't have control over the situation. So it's very helpful for teens, and really, as I said, any age, to be able to kind of differentiate these two strategies, right? We look for areas we can control, and we reduce the stress where we can. And then we step back and we say, okay, now with the leftover stressors, maybe having to turn on my webcam, maybe with the amount of homework that I'm given that I can't control, maybe with having to have a speaking part in a particular class. That's where we're going to learn techniques to manage the stress. And those are those coping skills, the breathing, visualization. It could be, like I said, having some place to be able to expend physical energy during that time. We're going to manage the stress. And giving those tools to your kid, to the clients that I'm working with, gives them a sense of understanding, right? Now they have the power to identify when I can reduce and when I need to learn skills to manage. And just having that vocabulary and that awareness is really going to give them a sense of empowerment when they're encountering these stressors. So if you have any questions about these or need some more information on time management techniques for stress reduction, maybe you need some ideas for coping skills for your child, feel free to send an email to KS Services, and we would be more than happy to help you work through those questions.